We're doing this micro units project because we really want to show that it's a feasible way for people to add, safe, secure units.
Today on the Morning Edition, another piece to the puzzle, micro-unit housing. It could be a game changer in the fight against homelessness, how these tiny spaces could make a difference. And back to school, it just got a little bit easier for Anchorage families. Hugs is making sure that kids head into school ready to learn with the right supplies. And later.
The figure actually will be about 12 feet tall.
Honoring a hero through art, a sculptor is bringing the story of Robert Smalls to life in a statue that is set to stand in South Carolina's state capitol as the Morning Edition starts now. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up and joining us here on a Friday and August 1st, first day of the month.
It is, and we're dealing with some rain showers. Despite that, though, we're still expected to see some warm weather staying with us as we transition into the first full week of August. Of course, today and tomorrow, we will continue to favor at least some rain showers. And those rain showers we're waking up with this morning, those moved in through the overnight hours where we are continuing to hold on to some of that rain for parts of South Central. We are still seeing fairly mild conditions this morning, 58 degrees with winds remaining fairly light. Now, later this evening, we will see some winds increasing across South Central, so be prepared for that. We're likely going to see winds of about 20 to 40 miles per hour for parts of the region. Showers this morning, they're kind of few and far between across South Central as we continue to see this activity kind of taper off. We got 40s and 50s across the regions. Some sunshine breaks out towards Seward as well as you head through eastern parts of South Central, while Cordova is waking up to some localized areas of some fog. So this rain will taper off this morning, and we'll see the possibility for some sunshine breaks into the afternoon. This comes from waves of rain that are wrapping around that area of low pressure. Notice as it moves into western parts of South Central, it's kind of losing its steam. So we will see this rain taper off here over the next couple of hours. But we have already seen upwards of a tenth of an inch in Portage, as well as Seward, Palmer approaching 2/10 of an inch of rain. Anchorage, we've also seen some of those light rain showers that have been with us. And while those will taper off, we'll see some sunshine breaks into the afternoon hours, really late afternoon, early evening. And then we're going to be watching more rain building in overnight into tomorrow. Temperatures, though, still expected to top out in the mid to upper 60s. I'll let you know what to expect for the first part of the weekend, but drier and sunnier weather is heading our way. I'll have those details in that 7-day forecast coming up.
In our top story, Anchorage continues to grapple with its homelessness crisis. New numbers paint a picture of just how much people are in need of a place to stay. Most recently, a vacant building was tapped to become a new shelter near downtown. And now city leaders are exploring another option, micro units. Joe Allgood reports.
We need to have recovery residences. We need the transitional housing for people who are coming out of homelessness. And, this is a way where the community can really get involved, too.
Anchorage Mayor Suzanne LaFrance pointing to 24 tiny homes, or micro units, set to be built in a lot at the corner of Tudor and Elmore, previously used for police parking. In addition to being transitional housing, the units will double as an addiction recovery program.
We do have some starting here in Anchorage, but we don't have any really up and running yet. So we're excited to add this to the available offerings.
But to reside in one of the micro units, program participation will be required.
So if you then, decide that you're not going to continue to participate in the program, you can't remain at the location. So I think that should give people confidence that this is going to be operated as a health service.
The program is modeled after established tiny home projects in Anchorage and the Mat-Su.
We're doing this micro units project because we really want to show that it's a feasible way for people to add safe, secure units and then support people using them.
And tiny home residents at Anchorage's Central Lutheran Church say they endorse the effort wholeheartedly.
This is a pilot program. This works. It takes the weight off your shoulders of wanting to find housing when you've been knocked down. And it's just a blessing. That's all I can say.
Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
Again, the program will start with 24 units, but Muni workers will leave room for 8 more if the Assembly chooses to fund more. Their plan is to be open and operational by October 15th.
You've seen around town, the tent cities or whatever. This looks beautiful compared to that.
Well, 6 tiny homes in a Midtown Church parking lot. They're now in place of the shelter dignity and growth. The In Our Backyard project, it welcomed its first residents last fall. Now a community garden is blooming around the homes, bringing neighbors together to celebrate what's been built. Flowers and vegetables planted by volunteers filled with space both inside the fence and along the street for anyone to enjoy. The garden isn't just for residents, it is open to the community. Anchorage police are out with their latest annual report, and the numbers reveal pedestrian fatalities seeing a big jump. In 2024, the Anchorage Police Department responded to 150% more pedestrian fatalities and saw a 93% increase overall in all types of fatal crashes. There was also a 27% increase in non-pedestrian fatal crashes. APD says it's a record number of deadly crashes since 2005. The report also notes 34 homicides, over 2,000 assaults and robberies, and 8 officer-involved shootings from 2024. It's not all bad, though. The report does show there were 84 less OUIs last year from 2023, and traffic and speeding citations were also slightly down. Alaska state troopers say alcohol played a role in a standoff that unfolded in Fairbanks Wednesday night. It began when 62-year-old Kenneth Reed Jr. believed that someone hit his vehicle, and then it quickly escalated. Troopers say Reed broke into a neighboring home and threatened several people with a gun, including a woman, her son, and another man that were living in the complex. When law enforcement arrived, including SWAT, Reed barricaded himself inside his apartment. After a standoff, he was taken into custody without force. He now faces a list of felony charges.
He came down here waving his gun in our faces and threatened to basically kill us.
We had an emergency negotiator go to the scene, establish contact with him, and talk him out. Approximately 45 minutes to an hour before we resolved the situation.
I come out without his shirt on, just his pants, and he's sitting there stumbling drunk and had a beer in one hand and ran up in there.
Reed remains at the Fairbanks Correctional Center. The public defender agency, which according to the court record system is assigned to the case, has not chosen to comment. Now, this morning, we are learning more about the young man, who died in a paddleboarding accident in Anchorage over the weekend. 21-year-old Raul Timasag was a Romanian student, his second summer in Alaska on a work and travel program. A Facebook post from his sister calls the loss unexpected and painful, while others remember Raul for his strong devotion to God. His family says he attended church weekly and had worshiped earlier that morning.
He was lamenting how many of the young people in his country back in Romania were no longer going to church. And he said, it's the most important thing in our life. And he said, I'm always going to be going to church. That's the kind of guy he was. He was very, very devout, very pious young man.
The city of Bethel is looking for feedback on whether the Bethel Police Department should take in the TV program On Patrol Live. The city says it is important to know how the community views the opportunity. So if you want to take a survey, there is a link on the City of Bethel's Facebook page. You can make comments there, but the survey would be mostly consolidated and efficient. Public broadcasting cuts. Leaders from an Alaska nonprofit are now working to start raising funds to fill gap cuts that may mean for the state's 27 public media stations. That includes KUAC in Fairbanks. Supporters of the funding cuts argue they're necessary to stop spending tax dollars on what they view as biased public media reporting. But the president and CEO of the nonprofit Alaska Community Foundation says rural Alaska public media stations are a matter of life and death, especially when it comes to emergency warnings and also weather information.
Radio and media, it plays a very different role in Alaska. All rural communities are, very reliant on public media. But for us, we have limited road access. We have limited broadband. It plays a very different role. It's really a connection. And in the ways that people use it, it's very conversational. They're local stories.
Leaders say the goal, after understanding what the cuts mean, is to either partner and fundraise or encourage donations to individual stations. Trying to give the stations 1 year to figure out a long-term plan, the Alaska Community Foundation says they've not ruled out a plan to help stations long-term. Human remains found deep in Juneau's Gastineau Channel have been identified more than 20 years after they were first discovered. Juneau police say the remains belong to Daryl Bruce Fawcett a Juneau man who was reported missing in 1999. A diver found the remains 83 feet underwater back in 2004, but identification wasn't possible at the time. Now, with advances in forensic technology, the Alaska Scientific Crime Detection Lab has confirmed that the remains belong to Fawcett, who was just 28 years old when he disappeared. The municipality of Anchorage unveiled its calendar of events to celebrate its 50-year anniversary, and it all starts with the kickoff night market at Town Square Friday, September 5th. They will have live music, vendors, arts, and plenty of other offerings. A few other events for September are listed there on the screen. They will continue through November, but for a full list of everything that is happening, you can always head over to the Anchorage Municipality's website. Well, happening today, Anchorage families can get a head start on the school year with some free supplies from the Hugs Back to School Jam. Hugs, it stands for Helping Us Give School Supplies. The event is open to all Anchorage School District families, and it takes place at Baggage Middle School from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. New this year, you can pre-register online, but it is not required. Students will get backpacks filled with essential supplies, including notebooks, crayons, binders, and more.
My goal was always to have ASD be a part of the backpack drives. I know that there's a lot of different community organizations that have them, but to me, when we only have one district in the city that covers 40,000 kids, we should be doing an introductory backpack drive as well.
And again, those students will get some backpacks filled with all the essentials, and you might want to get there early because the line does fill up. Coming up, get ready to hook into Alaska's ultimate fish and music bash. Well, it's one of Alaska's biggest summer traditions. A look at the celebration of Salmon Fest next.
Rain remains with us this morning across parts of South Central. While we will see some possible sunshine breaks, more rain carries us into the first part of the weekend. I'll have more on that. First sunrise, 5:33 in Anchorage, 6:23 in Bethel. Your full forecast is next.
We're back, everyone. Happy Friday, August 1st, and check out the walruses there just kind of sleeping away. This is a live look now of what it looks like out at Round Island there.
Probably enjoying a nice little slumber, getting to sleep in this morning. Of course, we are still watching some rain across the state, more so here across South Central as well as out towards Southeast. Notice to the north and west, we are beginning to see that sunnier and warmer weather taking hold. 50 degrees currently in Utqiagvik, 49 in Nome. We've got 55 degrees in Fairbanks. Rain showers across South Central and parts of Southeast. And while we are waking up to some sunshine breaks out towards the Aleutians, we will continue to favor increasing rain showers as well. So there's our area of low pressure lingering in the Gulf Coast region. That's going to continue to favor rain showers here over the rest of today and into our Saturday. And then we've got that area of low pressure out towards the western Aleutians and the western Bering. That will continue to lead to increasing rain as well as some gusty winds for the Aleutian Islands through the rest of today and into the weekend. But of course, closer to home, we continue to see the area of low pressure, that counterclockwise flow, continuing to pull in moisture. We're beginning to see rain out towards southeast. That's eventually going to spread westward here into South Central through the overnight hours on into tomorrow. So we are going to continue to favor some of these rainfall chances. Of course, this activity we're dealing with this morning, that will begin to taper off. We'll see the possibility for some sunshine breaks later this afternoon into the evening, just a very short time period for that. And then more rain arrives through the overnight hours. And you notice again the general flow coming in from the east as it wraps around that area of low pressure. So again, we dry out this afternoon. You can see rain pushing through parts of the Copper River Basin and into Prince William Sound. That will eventually spread westward into the overnight hours. Now, one thing we'll also be watching is a chance for some thunderstorm development through the Copper River Basin. Those could shift westward as well. So we could see some parts of the valley later this evening with some thunderstorm potential. But notice overnight into tomorrow, we've got that scattered to widespread rain that's going to grip parts of South Central. So be prepared for a wet Saturday. Now, by tomorrow evening, we should begin to see that rain lightening up across the region. So how much can we expect to see? Well, coastal areas, particularly through Prince William Sound, will see that potential for up to an inch, if not some higher amounts to be expected. Western parts of South Central could see an outside chance that we could approach half an inch, if not some slightly higher amounts. I think here in Anchorage, though, we'll likely see slightly less than that, but there is still that potential we could see up to a half an inch of rainfall. In addition to that, as the overnight hours arrive, we'll see some winds beginning to increase across western parts of South Central, and then those gap winds through the Copper River Basin. We can expect to see those winds of about 20 to 40 miles per hour. Not everyone will see those winds. Really going to be through the Knik area, as well as through the Copper River Basin. Of course, some of those gap winds that could increase tonight into your Saturday. So for today, we'll see those rain showers gradually lighten up. Some afternoon sunshine will be possible. Not for everyone, though, and those temperatures still warming into the 60s across South Central. Maybe an outside chance we see 70 through parts of the valley and the Copper River Basin. And again, we're going to be watching that rain arriving through the overnight hours on into our Saturday. And Saturday will be a bit on the wet side. As a result of that, be prepared for cooler conditions. And like we've seen with most of those days that bring some widespread rain, I would not be surprised if we see highs in the upper 50s. But check out next week. We make a run near 70 each day with some sunshine.
Hey, yeah, that looks great. Starting off August nice. Thanks, Aaron. We'll get ready to celebrate all things salmon. Alaska, of course, known for a lot of things, scenery, wildlife, and also some pretty big festivals. But today kicks off Salmon Fest. It is a one-of-a-kind experience that sets the stage for the music scene in South Central. Cassandra Mansell gives us a little preview of what is in store this year.
Something fishy is going on in Ninilchik, and it's something Alaskans are certainly proud of, our salmon.
It's obviously the annual rallying hub for the protection of Bristol Bay. It's how the festival got started back in 2011.
And now, one of the highlights of the summer on the Kenai Peninsula, enjoying the tunes and raising money for salmon-related initiatives across Alaska, with a focus to protect Bristol Bay's salmon runs.
You know, Bristol Bay is one of the last large-scale wild salmon runs left on the planet. The festival got started as a way to bring awareness to it, raise money, and in an attempt to protect what is an incredibly important natural resources that has sustained people in Alaska for centuries and hopefully for centuries more.
Thousands are expected to come this weekend, hungry for food, entertainment, and music.
It's a festival for everyone in their own way. You know, it's really been built as from a grassroots movement. And I think that's felt, you know, throughout the people that come to the festival, throughout the organizations, our vendors.
Coming together and celebrating the creatures that will help provide for Alaska's future. Cassandra Mansell, Alaska's news source.
The event starts today. It runs through Sunday at the Kenai Peninsula Fairgrounds. Salmon Fest is so popular, though, that tickets are already sold out.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.